Peter Zalmayev. He's the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. He joins me now from the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Peter, good to have you back on the show.
Good evening.
The last time that a Ukrainian president was invited to the White House, Trump was in office, and we all remember the twist of events, that sort of infamous phone call that led to Donald Trump's first impeachment. I've laid out some of the key issues. What are your expectations from this visit from Zelensky in D.C.?
Well, contrary to sort of lowered expectations on the eve of the meeting and the fact that it was actually moved because of everything that is going on in Afghanistan, everything that is going on in Louisiana, in the southern part of the United States, with the tropical storm, where it is obviously Ukraine is not on the top of the agenda of Mr. Biden. Contrary to those lowered expectations that the meeting will be pro forma, nothing will come out of it, there is some sense of optimism that I have, and I share it with other colleagues, that in fact both sides may be interested in some sort of, if not a breakthrough, but some sort of progress to show. Mr. Biden, as well as Mr. Zelensky, he wants to show something, positive happening on that front, on the Eastern European front, to deflect attention from what's happening in Afghanistan. Once again, you mentioned that NATO is pretty much off the table. Also off the table is the Nord Stream 2, contrary to his initial support of the idea of canceling Nord Stream 2. Biden decided to go along with it for the sake of his relationship with Germany. So it will not be productive for Mr. Zelensky to knock on that door and to try to revoke the agreement. It's fait accompli. What I'm seeing, and it's very positive, is that Biden will probably announce $60 million in new security assistance, including new Javelin missiles. He will reiterate America's unambiguous support of Ukraine. And that is very, very important, considering that in 2 weeks, Russia and Belarus are expected to sign a treaty that will bring them together essentially into, if not one state, into a confederation, which will mean that Russia will be in a position to move troops to the northwestern part of Ukraine and, in fact, will encircle Ukraine. So Ukraine will need this as support and security guarantee of some sort from America as badly as ever, and therefore this meeting is going to be very, very important.
So no breakthrough, but a little bit of progress. But when you look at the relationship between the two countries, it's been a rocky road. I mean, to put it at the least. I mean, Biden's administration, when it comes to the track record between the two countries, has been uneven. Yes, Secretary Blinken had a productive visit to Kiev, where you are, back in May, but that was followed up by a decision to waive sanctions on an ally of President Putin. Then you talked about, Russia or the U.S. sort of wanting to move ahead with Nord Stream 2. Is this the U.S. basically doing whatever it suits its national interests, or standing up for an ally?
Well, I mean, obviously, realpolitik intrudes, and it has intruded, in Afghanistan, where Biden made the decision for a hasty exit. And official Russians are gloating over the fact and taunting, including Ukraine, saying, look, what America is doing to its close allies, it will leave you the same way it dropped Afghanistan. But keep in mind that Germany, like I said, is a more important ally for the U.S. Therefore, we have Nord Stream 2 being given a green light. So the circumstances being what they are, this is what it is. But keep in mind also that Joe Biden was in charge of the Ukraine policy under President Obama, his boss, for 8 years. And he is naturally skeptical about some of the things he's seeing in Ukraine, including in this new administration of President Zelensky. Mr. Zelensky will have to be accountable to more than a few inquiries, such as what he is doing about the oligarchization of Ukraine, what he is doing about Mr. Kolomoisky, the oligarch that is suspected to control Mr. Zelensky, what he is doing about the involvement of the executive in business decisions and trying to run businesses and trying to control businesses. All of this is going to be very important. And Mr. Biden still views Ukraine as essentially a corrupt country that is doing its best, I guess, it claims that it's doing its best. But whether Mr. Zelensky will make a convincing case that he is doing his best, on that will depend to what extent Biden will go out on a limb and spend his political capital to support Ukraine.
Peter, good to have you on the show. Peter Zalmayev with that analysis. Thank you.